Hello, my name is Dr. Michael Hutchital, and today I'll be doing an introduction on the Metalogix Revolution external fixation system. Today's video in our series of educational videos will be looking at the static external fixator construct, as well as going through the components of how to construct one, as well as wire placement, pin placement, and some of our anatomic safe zones. So once we get started, we'll be doing the anatomy of the frame, as well as the components of the system. Okay, so let's go over the basic components of the static external fixator. So the static external fixator is comprised of the components which provide stability to the lower extremity, as well as the components that attach each segment, and then lastly the components that attach the limb to the external fixator. So the first thing I'd like to show you are these two plates here that are purple and connected by these purple cascading welded blocks. And this is what's called the tibial block. These are used to stabilize the leg and attach it to the foot. The next portion of the fixator is the foot plate. And so the three components in general for a static external fixator are the proximal tibial plate, the distal tibial plate, and the foot plate. And they can be connected in a variety of ways. In this case, we have these two welded cascading blocks here. We have struts, which are able to move in multiple planes of freedom that have connected the tibial block, which are these two, to our foot plate. Next, we have the components that attach the external fixator to the limb. And in this case, we have all threaded rods, some of which are bolted directly to the external fixator on the plate, and others of which are connected secondarily by what's called a hold post. And then lastly, we've got our rocker bottom foot plate here for patients who would like to ambulate while they have the external fixator on. And then finally, our foot bridge here. Okay, let's go through the assembly and components for the static external fixator. So as we had explained previously in this video, we have the components for the tibial block, which are these two end plates, these purple end plates, as well as our foot plate. And this represents the structural support for the external fixator that we'll be creating. Next are the components to attach the proximal and distal tibial plates, and today we will be using threaded rods. Threaded rods will go in between each section and connect them prior to attaching the tibial block to our foot plate. And to attach our tibial block today, we will be using these multiplanar struts that are able to telescope as well as move at a variety of angles, 180 degrees. And in further videos, we will discuss some of the advantages to that. Okay, to attach the external fixator to the body, we have a combination of threaded half pins with a long thread pattern and a short thread pattern, as well as wires. We have smooth wires with spade tips here. And then we also have our truss wires with our drill tips. And we'll talk a little bit more about the advantages of the drill tips in other videos. Next, we have our wrenches. And all standard external fixation sets have a size of 10 millimeters for their nuts used on their wrenches. And then lastly, we have our tensioners here, which will help us tension our wire and secure the external fixator to the patient's body.